Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to race number 8 of the second season of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series powered by the WRA. We've arrived in beautiful Loudon, New Hampshire at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway as we're getting set for 75 laps of racing. Of course, the Truck Series, first time there, you have come to the Magic Mile. We did not race here in season 1. It was only Busch and the Cup drivers who've raced here before in season 1. Sasha Bright, after a great shocking pole that she pulled out yesterday, she'll start on the pole position. She is making her fourth start, is 41st in the points table. Ashlyn Wright, one of our full-time drivers, looking like that will be the case. She is 11th in the points table. CJ Bracken making his debut, and Abigail Furling in the 62. She jumped up 4 spots to 23rd position in the points. There's the rest of your starting lineup for today's race. And everybody is rolling off. Let's go over the points presented by Golden Corral. Help yourself to happiness. Ashton Ingersoll is the points leader by 2 points over Gretchen Muller and Bora Park, who are tied for the rookie points lead. T Noguera is 4th in the standings, 4 points back. Look how close that championship battle is. 20 points back is D Cunningham, who jumped up 5 spots to 5th in the standings. Victoria Hughes, L Hernandez, D Ebrahimian, A Ricci, and A Pollard complete the top 10. Top 10 separated by 39 points. Here we go from Loudon, New Hampshire. Green flags in the air. We are racing here at the Magic Mile. Sasha Bright will lead the first lap of 75 we got contested here today. This is the EJP 175. Should be a fun truck race here today. For some of these drivers, well, they learned today that will help them for tomorrow afternoon when they run the Busch race. Before that, we have Cup qualifying to worry about tomorrow afternoon at 1. Now for second between CJ Bracken and Abigail Furling. Abigail Furling was announced prior to today, before Busch pole day qualifying started this afternoon. This morning, it was announced that Abigail Furling will be attempting to qualify for the Winston Cup race at the HLR circuit later in the year. She'll be in the number 97, the ride that Shyla Askarov was going to attempt to qualify for the road courses, but since she's going to be in the 80 car for the remainder of the season over in that series, Abigail Furling will be driving the number 97 for Roush Racing. So, big opportunity for Abigail Furling because she has had previous experience at the HLR circuit, so it would make a lot of sense for her to be in that race. So, that'll be something we're definitely going to keep our eye on. We'll see if Abigail will make her first start of the year over on the Cup side. She's also planning on running a couple of other Cup races as well for Winston Cup later in the season. That was Michael Brown getting together with Ashlyn Wright in the background. Thankfully, they keep it together. Sasha Bright, currently the race leader. While this race is going on, I'm going to go ahead and let everybody know before you start commenting in the Premier chat and also comment on the YouTube on this race. Please remember to take note of the description. That way you guys understand the rules and all that. So, yeah, which shouldn't be that difficult for some people. Lucian Bianchi in the 07. Lucian is making his... I'm looking for the 07. He is making his 5th start. And the caution is out. I'm going to go ahead and finish what I was going to say. Lucian Bianchi is 32nd in the points. He is a total of 15 points back of 30th in the standings. So another good run. He's in the top 30 and locked in the show as the caution is out for the first time today here at Loudon. Oh, Mohammed Zain is up in smoke. Came in this race 37th in the points. Needed a good run to get back in the top 30 in points to be locked into every race. That's not going to happen. I believe he's the only one. Nope, Gitteroth's involved. Oh, it's a disaster for Samad Oskin's team, as 2 of his drivers look like they're done for the day. And this is not what Gitteroth needed, because he came in this race 22nd in points, right near that 30th in the standings cut line. And their team owner failed to qualify. So a bad day got worse for Samad Oskin's team as the yellow's out for the first time today on lap number 9. Let's jump back and look at a replay to find out what happened in the early stages here at Loudon. Well, this is what happened to the 14 of Daniel Gitteroth. Just notice T Noguera was also involved in whatever this incident was. So this is coming off of turn number 4. I think the 86 is going to have something to do with it, or did the 14 get a bit tight? I think the 14, somebody got in the Bora Park in the 13. That's what sent her around, and that's what sent the 14 around was the 86. But someone sent the 13 into the inside wall. And just watch. Oh, Anthony Ricci just squeaked by. Tatiana Guerra, nowhere for her to go. Luis Hernandez got a piece of it. And that's where Mohammed Zain got a piece of it. It looks like he got turned and also made contact with Zachy Panini. But who turned Bora Park? That was my next question. So we're going to have to look at a helicopter view to find that answer. Okay, here we go. Here's a good angle. I think it was the 23 because the 23 just popped the wall. And just nowhere for the 95. That is Trix Christensen making her Truck Series debut. Nowhere for her to go. As you kind of expect. Tell you what, Anthony Ricci and Michael Brown did a good job missing that wreck. But, boy, this has not been a good day for Samad Oskin's team. Samad Oskin himself failed to qualify, and now 2 of his drivers are out of the race just like that, as we're going to head back to the restart here at Loudon. Well, I timed it perfectly on getting back to green for the Truck Series drivers, so that's good. So Sasha Bright is the leader, Abigail Furling in 2nd, Lucian Bianchi 3rd, Victoria Hughes 4th, CJ Bracken 5th, Michael Brown is 6th, Ashlyn Wright 7th, Mark Simpson, Ashton Ingersoll, and Futaba Sakura making her Truck Series debut. Complete the top 10. Futaba failed to qualify for the Busch race for tomorrow afternoon. Drivers out after that incident, Daniel Gitteroth, Tatiana Guerra, and Mohammed Zain all out of the race. It has not been a good day for Samad Oskin's team. Of course, I mentioned the team owner failed to qualify for this race. Daniel Gitteroth and Mohammed Zain already out just like that. as we are back to green flag racing here. And their only driver they have left is D Ebrahimian, so that's really not good for those drivers. That might have just taken that might have just taken Gitteroff possibly out of the top 30 in the points, depending on how everything else shakes out. As we have a battle for the lead, Abigail Furling underneath Sasha Bright moved the Orleans Dodge to P1 just like that. T Noguera came in race fourth in points. This will drop her out of the top 10 of the points. Possibly. I know it'll drop her out of the top 5. So she definitely needs a good rebound heading into next week, which will be at Dover next week. Really important race for them. Troubles for Victoria Hughes. Looks like the engine has let go on the 8 machine. Yep. This might bring out a caution because she's right in the middle of the racing line. Are they going to throw the yellow? The answer is no. As long as she can teleport to pit road. She was running 4th at the time. And she has teleported back to pit road, so we will stay under the green flag racing. But what a tough break for Victoria Hughes. That's another driver who came in running well in point 6 to be exact. Prior to today, Abigail Furling has led a total of 50 laps. She's led more than what she led all of last season. Abigail just being a good veteran driver, knows how to get around these tracks. It was a header that let go on the 8 of Victoria Hughes. So like I said, came in 6th in points. So this will drop her out of the top 10 in the points, leaving today. We talked about Bora Park, who got spun on the front straightaway. She was tied for the rookie points lead. Where's the gal that she was tied for the rookie points lead coming into this race? G Muller all the way back in 27th. Remember, that's 2nd in points. The guy that she's trying to run down for the points lead, which is the 64 of Ashton Ingersoll, currently in 9th. So Ingersoll would more than likely keep the points lead for himself going into Dover next week. E Ricci, the last truck on the lead lap in 38th. Abigail Furling, currently still your race leader. You know, you think about the resumes of, drivers, from the Monster Energy Series, who are now either in the Cup Series or here in the Truck Series, like Abigail Furling, for instance. Of course, Abigail Furling tied with Annie Einstein for the most championships at 4. She's the only Furlings driver who's still racing in the series. Of course, the other 3 Furling friends, Russell, Edgar, and Michelle, we have not been seeing them recently, so but I might expect them to possibly be in this series next season. And the thing for Abigail Furling, I talked about, she's going to attempt to qualify for the HLR race. That's only going to be for the Cup drivers that weekend. Start of 3 races on their own. So Abigail Furling knows if you fail to qualify for HLR, and you don't have any other races that weekend, you're done for the weekend just like that. So really critical for Abigail Furling to take part in that race weekend, as the caution is out for the second time today. Looks like another incident on the front straightaway, and I was going to get ready to bring this up, which I'll actually bring that up when we get ready to go back to green. Let's see who brought out the yellow. Seeing some damage on Zachy Panini, so I'm starting to wonder if he had something to do with this yellow along with Anthony Ricci. But we'll find all those questions out as the yellow is out for the second time today on lap number 22. Let's jump back, look at a replay to find out what happened to Zachy Panini. Indeed, the caution was for both Zachy Panini and Anthony Ricci. It's like a carbon copy of the first yellow of the day, except Anthony thought he was clear and just hooked the 34 into the inside wall. And Anthony came in this race 9th in the points. Zachy Panini comes in this race 26th in points. Zachy Panini did not need this because Zachy Panini, with a poor finish, could fall in the top 30 just like that. He was only 9 points above the 30th in the standings cut line. So there you go. So the yellow is out for the second time today here at Loudon. Let's get to the restart here in New Hampshire. We're going to go back to green here on lap number 27 of 75. Furling is still leader, Bianchi second, Sasha Bright third, Michael Brown fourth, Mark Simpson now in fifth. Quiet run for Futaba Sakura in her truck debut. She is sixth, Ashlyn Wright seventh, Maisie Creighton eighth, Ingrid Pollard ninth, and Chikara Takashi will complete your top 10. Nobody out of the race after that deal. Now, it goes back to what I was going to bring up before that caution came out. This is 75 laps of racing. These drivers are racing. 94 laps they can go on a fuel run. So the fuel is not going to be an issue. The big question is going to be, and we saw CJ Bracken came to pit road, I'm starting to wonder, are these drivers going to have to make pit stops with tires? Because they can make it 75 laps on a tank of fuel, which is not going to be an issue. But are they going to have, as we're back to green, are they going to have to pit for tires if they can go 75 laps on a set of tires? I know they can make it on fuel. Will they make it on tires? That's going to be the big question going into this race. And we'll have to see about that. Michael Brown is up to third. Michael failed to qualify for the Busch race, so unless he makes it into the Cup race on Sunday, this will be Michael Brown's only race of the weekend. Michael's been on a bit of a free fall the last couple of weeks, down to 21st in the points, our Coca-Cola winner. I bet you turn 4 is going to be a trouble spot all weekend long. Haven't seen any other incidents off of turn number 2. Excuse me. Zachy Panini back here at the rear of the field. Same with Ashton Ingersoll, our points leader. As we're checking the rear of the field. There's CJ Bracken. He came to pit road under that caution while we were looking at a replay. Quentin Moore, we'll see him tomorrow afternoon running the Busch race. There's Joshua Ambrosio in the 23, his first race where he didn't have to worry about go-home qualifying. There's Zach Foster in the 51. He dropped 6 spots down to 27th in the points. He is 10 points above the 30th in the standings cut line. Ambrosio's in that critical 30th in the standings. Trish Christensen in the 95 making her debut. Erica Douglas. Before anyone opens their mouth and says nice dirt, I'm going to let you know this now. I'm recording this at 3 in the morning, and I couldn't even go to bed. I went to bed, but I couldn't stay asleep, and I've been up since almost an hour ago. But Erica Douglas, and there's Bora Park. We'll see both of these girls tomorrow afternoon. Erica Douglas qualified her car into the show for tomorrow's Busch race. There's Bora Park. Remember, she comes in this race tied for the rookie points lead. She's also tied for second in the points. There's Carlos Rodriguez. He'll be attempting to qualify for the Cup race tomorrow afternoon. There's Gretchen Muller, the points leader. Or second in points, excuse me. And Vickers right there. Pedro Sales, Shyla Askaroff. Shyla, of course, failed to qualify for the Busch race earlier today. I believe, I'm going to double check to make sure. There's Dylan Cunningham, 5th in the standings. Anna Steiner, Addison Peterson, she failed to qualify for the Busch race tomorrow. Doesn't matter to her. And the Ebrahimian, we'll see him tomorrow. Been very impressed for Futaba Sakura in the 42 for King Racing. This Toyota number 42 truck. Futaba failed to qualify the Joe Gibbs Racing number 18 machine. And in our first attempt here in the Truck Series in her first start, running a quiet P4 as we're right now getting ready to put 37 laps onto the board. And that is the midway point of today's Truck Series race here at Loudon. Looks like Futaba's truck is good on the long run. She's one of those drivers that did not pit under the yellow, so most of the leaders have not been to pit road this race. And like I said, yes, they can go 75 laps on a fuel, which fuel will not be an issue, as Michael Brown just booted Abigail Furling. Let's just remind you, Abigail Furling is still a co-owner with Nathan Orman, by the way, so I really don't know what Michael Brown was doing there. Gave her a shot going in the 3 just a lap ago, as we're now past the halfway point of today's race. Michael Brown, as we mentioned, failed to qualify for the Busch race. He's going to try again to make the Cup race tomorrow afternoon. If he doesn't make the Cup race, this will be his only race of the weekend. Daniel Gitteroth, he's not going to have a lot of laps going into tomorrow's Busch Series race. He will be starting deep in the field. Summit Oskin, we will see him tomorrow, as he's going to be at a huge disadvantage after failing to qualify for his first race of the season. Hopefully, this is not going to be a sign of things to come for Samad Oskin. His team, we know, with Mohammed Zain, when he failed to qualify the last couple of weeks, it really affected him going into the next day. Hopefully, that won't be the case for Samad. Quentin Moore will be starting 10th tomorrow afternoon. Ashlyn Wright will start 15th in the Busch race tomorrow. Erica Douglas will start 24th, 28th for Gitteroff. Remember, they had Busch Pole Day qualifying just before this race. At our biggest go or go home field, 44 drivers, which is the most. I know after next week at Dover, we will not have 44 drivers. And we got a couple of more drivers in the. We're gonna have a couple of more entries for the Busch Series next, or for the Truck Series, excuse me, next week at Dover. Trying to remember if trucks ran Dover last season. I'm gonna have to double check. I will. Let me actually double check to be sure, because I'm not 100% sure if they ran Dover last season. We're also going to talk about the Busch and the Cup. Well, we already talked about who is the defending winner for the Cup race. Trying to see if the Busch or the Truck Series drivers have raced at Darling or at a Dover rather. I turned the volume down so you guys don't have to. And I'm looking. I do not think they did race Dover. I'm going to double check. And the answer is no. They did not run Dover last season. It was only Busch and the Cup drivers that have ran Dover. So we're going to have first time winners at Dover next week. Let's see who is the defending Busch Series winner at Loudon. That way I have a deal. It'll be Taylor Valley, who won the inaugural race back in season number 1. She'll be starting 14th tomorrow afternoon. Taylor was one of the 12 drivers who raced their way into the Busch Series field via the Go or Go Home session, which had 2 5-minute sessions and then a 10-minute third round. Yes, there was 3 rounds of qualifying. Group 1A and 1B, which is Go or Go Home qualifying, and then round 2 was like the 42 drivers that will be racing tomorrow afternoon. There's Bianchi. Futaba, this will be her only race of the weekend since she didn't qualify for the Busch race, but she's really made the most of this opportunity as Michael Brown's going by Abigail Furling for the race lead. So good job to Michael. And before anyone forgets, like I said, I'm recording this in the wee hours of the morning. I didn't sleep good yesterday as of this recording. Abigail's going to power back on the outside retake the race lead. Jackie Benini back here at the rear of the field. Quentin Moore. Luis Hernandez has got right side damage. I bet he got into the wall. And Joshua Ambrosio, 1 week removed after getting himself in the top 30 in the points, to be locked into his first race where he didn't have to qualify his way in, he might be might be out of the top 30 just like that. Let's see about CJ Bracken, because he was one of the drivers that came to pit road under that last caution. He's already up to 21st. So he's really, those fresh tires are really working in his favor, but he's starting to run out of laps, as Abigail's already led lap number 50 of this race. 50 complete, 25 to go here at Loudon, New Hampshire. I want to remind everybody right now, this copyrighted broadcast is presented by the authority of the World Racing Association for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction or rebroadcast or retransmit or any other disseminations or the use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the World Racing Association is prohibited. Blue Hedgehog TV and the World Racing Association, I want to thank you fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast. As Abigail Furling, who's more than likely led the most laps today. But I've been very impressed by Futaba Sakura. She's doing an awesome job. Her team owner, Jacob Foster, did not qualify for this race. And he also did not qualify for the Busch race either. And Futaba's underneath Michael Brown for second. So looks like Futaba has really got a good truck on the long runs, if you ask me. And she's trying to go by Michael Brown for second. Remember, she's making her debut, believe it or not. I'm going to be right back. All right, I'm back. Looks like we didn't miss much while I was gone. Quentin Moore has really dropped back to 37th. It's like Lucci and Bianchi got around Futaba Sakura for third position. Let's take it on board with Abigail Furling on how difficult it is to get around here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. You can definitely tell how much out of the throttle she is coming off the corners. And you hear how much off the throttle she is going through the corners, and that tells you how much it's really changed. Remember, she's been in clean air for most of this race, so it's really helping that truck grip up to the track. And CJ Bracken is really on the move. He's already up to the 18th position, just got around Dylan Ebrahimian. Remember, like I said, he was one of the drivers that came to pit road for fresh tires. That was a smart strategy for CJ, and it might get him a good finish as we're going to have a battle for the lead here. Pretty good racing so far here for the Truck Series, which says to me we expect the same thing to see in the Busch and Cup races later this weekend. As Michael Brown has now taken the race lead. We're more than likely going to have traffic coming up ahead. There's Mark Simpson having a good run there. Maria Steiner running in sixth. Inger Pollard seventh. Cody Goforth eighth. Addison Peterson didn't talk much about Addie for this race, running in ninth. Addie's really having a quiet run. Addie is 18th in the points, so it looks like she's going to continue to climb her way through the points table. 10th is Anna Steiner. Well needed run for Anna Steiner, driver who's right near that 30th in the standings cut line. This will get her away from 30th in the standings, and also a good run for Shyla Asgrove, who's also trying to get away from 30th in the standings. Inside of 10 to go. We've been cleaning green since we went back to green on lap 26. as Michael Brown currently the race lead. Just completed 70 laps on lap 71, so we're almost to the end of this race. Next time by will be 4 laps of racing to go. Michael looking for his second win on the year. He won at Coca-Cola at the beginning of the year. Trying to get himself back into championship contention. Also get him away from 30th in the standings. I believe he would be also our first repeat winner of the season. Because right now we've had 7 races and 7 different winners so far this season. So if he wins today, he'll be our first repeat winner of the season, as they have caught Zachy Panini, who is off the pace. Remember, he was involved in our last caution with Anthony Ricci. Anthony is in 35th. So for the first time today, lap traffic has played a factor in who's going to win this race, as we're down to 2 to go. Looks like we got some drivers coming to pit road. They can't make it on fuel. White flag. 1 more lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank. It's like a number of drivers have run out of fuel or have tire issues and can't make it. That's going to really shake up the running order, I can tell you that for sure. And off of turn number 4 for his second Craftsman Truck Series win, Michael Brown will take it at Loudon. Michael Brown is the winner of the EJP 175 here today at Loudon. It's like a number of drivers came to pit road, and that's really shook up the running order just like that. As we're waiting for the standings to get official. But those drivers who stayed out took the gamble on staying out on just the tires they ran at the beginning of the race. That was a good idea. Abigail will get second. Good run for Abigail. Michael Brown, this is also a well-needed win for him to stop the bleeding. This will put him back in the top 20 in the points table just like that. Abigail Furling will get second. Came in this race 23rd in the points, led the most laps, so I don't think she'll be too disappointed about that. Lucian Bianchi will get third. This will no doubt put him back in the top 30 in the points to lock himself in the show. And his teammate in the 08 of Mark Simpson, 14th in the points. This could put him back in the top 10 in the points leaving today. Ingrid Pollard, quiet run for her in 5th. Ingrid came into this race 10th of the points. She'll stay in the top 10 of the points leaving today. How about Addison Peterson? Didn't talk a lot about her all race. Had a really quiet run in 6th. Came in this race 18th on the points, so this will move her way up through the points table. Well-needed run for Anna Steiner, who was near that 30th in the standings. A 7th place. This will get her away from 30th in the standings. CJ Bracken, quiet debut in 8th. That gamble of pitting early has really capitalized him to an 8th place finish, especially when drivers could not make it on tires. Shyla Ashcroft, also another driver near 30th in the standings. Quiet run for her. This will get her away from that deal. And Dylan Cunningham did not talk about the Square D Dodge. He came in this race fifth in the points. We're going to have to see where this is going to situate him because it looks like he finished ahead of drivers that he was trying to run down for the points lead, and as well as the rookie points lead is concerned. We'll have to see where 10th is going to situate him. Lucas Sales, Sasha Bright, pole sitter in 12th. Dylan Ebrahimian, 13th. Maisie Creighton, Shakira Takashi, 15th. Gretchen Muller finished in 17th. She was second in points. The gal that she was tied for the rookie points lead, Bora Park, finished right behind her in 18th place. Looking on down to the rest of the finishing results for Delta Sakura, 27th. Looks like she came to pit road in the closing stages. She was running in the top 5 for most of that, for almost this entire race. So really a tough break for her. Look on down to the rest of the results. These drivers could not make it on tires, I can tell you that for sure. And they had to come to pit road towards the closing stages, and it really shook up the running order. Maria Steiner, last truck on the lead lap in 28th. Ashton Ingersoll, the points leader, finished in 34th. Let's see. Cunningham finished ahead of Noguera, who was out of the race. 4 drivers did not reach the conclusion of the race. Victoria Hughes had an engine failure, and then Gitteroth, Noguera, and Zane all out due to the first of 2 cautions we had. So we had 2 cautions in the early part of this race, and we went clean and green for majority of the second half of this race. So pretty good to have only 2 cautions, but 4 retirements out of the race. Now, let me see here. Mueller finished 17th, so that's 17 points. Bora Park also finished 16 ahead, so I think Gretchen, well, Cunningham finished ahead of both of them because Cunningham finished in 10th. That's 24 points. I think Cunningham is going to take the points lead, not just for the overall, but for the Rookie of the Year standings. Again, do not quote me on that. Wait till you see the points table at the end of the or down in the description below. But that's going to do it from here at Loudon. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the World Racing Association crew today. We showed your full finisher results. Those said points down in the description. Heading into our next race next week at Dover. We got to finish up this race weekend tomorrow afternoon at 1, pole day qualifying for the Cup drivers as we get ready for their 11th race of the year. And we will have our Busch race tomorrow afternoon at 3. And then on Sunday at 1, the Cup drivers will finish up this race weekend from the Magic Mile. Hope you will join us for that. And now for our studio engineer, Caleb Hobbs and Dita Voles, thank you for joining me and saying goodbye and good night from Loudon, New Hampshire. We congratulate Michael Brown on his 2nd win of the season. Coming up next, we'll rejoin the Infinity Network Sports Studios programming already in progress. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. You've been watching the World Racing Association Grace Racing since 2013 on the World Racing Association's Multimedia Network.